Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing some more pantry cooking, which is essentially just using ingredients in my pantry to pull together a meal. And what I'm making today is a Tex-Mex style tamale pie. So the ingredients that we're going to need today are somewhere between 2 to 2.5 pounds of ground beef. This one's about 2.4 pounds. As well as some vegetables, and the ones I'm choosing to use today are onions. I have a small yellow onion and a small sweet onion here, as well as 1 diced jalapeno, about the equivalent of 1 colored pepper, so I've got a mix of the red, yellow, and orange here, half of a green pepper, and I've got 1 rib of celery. And you can use these in varying amounts. If there's something in here you don't like, leave it out. Or if you have another vegetable that you like more, add it in. It's one of the beauties of this dish. It's extremely customizable. We're also going to need some garlic. And I have about 4 cloves of garlic. Some of them were kind of small. So I've got those there. We're going to need a can of Ro Tel tomatoes. If you don't have these, diced tomatoes work, or if you have like a fire roasted tomato, those are really good in this as well. I'm also going to be using some tomato sauce. This is a 15-ounce can. I don't know that I'm going to use it all, but we'll at least have enough there if we need it. And I've also got some corn. This is a Mexican corn. It's already got some peppers and onions in it, but plain corn, whether frozen or from a can or home canned like this, works perfectly in this. If you had some black beans, that would be a good addition. Unfortunately, I'm out of those, so I'm not going to be adding them. As well as if you had a can of the diced chili peppers, those would go really good in here as well. And then for our topping, we are going to need some cornbread, and I am going to be using 2 boxes of Jiff cornbread mix. And we're going to make it according to the package directions with a 2/3 cup of milk as well as 2 eggs. But we're also going to be adding in 1 minced jalapeno as well as 1 sliced up green onion and some cheddar cheese. So, and the last thing, that we are going to need is some taco seasoning. What I'm choosing to use today is Jiffy Dad's Mexican spice blend. And I will leave a link to the video where he goes over this one. Or if you don't want to use this, then a commercial taco seasoning blend works just as well. Whether it's in a big container like this or in the little individual packets. So the first thing we need to do is move over to the stove and start getting our meat and vegetables cooked. Alright guys, and now that I have you over at my stove, my pan's already hot. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and drop my hamburger straight in. And we want to break this up really well. Alright guys, now that I've got the hamburger broken down a little bit, I'm actually going to go ahead and just dump in my vegetables at the same time. And we're going to allow this to cook all at one time. So I've got these vegetables mixed in pretty well with the hamburger, so now they're going to cook evenly. And I'm also going to go ahead and dump in my garlic right now so that it can start cooking down. And I'm just going to stir this around, and then I'm going to go ahead and let this do its thing. And we're going to go ahead and move back over to the other counter and get our cornbread mixture fixed up so it will be ready to go on top once this is done. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get our cornbread started. And all we need to do is dump both of our boxes in. Here we go. And what I like to do is add in my cheese at this point. And I'm going to use about half of this. I think I have about 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups here. And we're just going to dump in about half. Doing it this way keeps your cheese from clumping up in a wet batter, so you get even amounts of cheese throughout your cornbread. And I think, actually, I'm going to add just a tad bit more. There we go. That looks better. And I'm also going to go ahead and dump in my onions, as well as my jalapenos at this point. So the reason I go ahead and add my jalapenos and my onions at this point is the same reason as I do the cheese. I don't want big clumps of jalapeno or onion in one spot and then not be mixed in anywhere else in the cornbread. And I find if you do it like this, you have a much better chance of preventing that from happening. So now all we need are our eggs, as well as all of our milk. And now all we need to do is stir this together. I like to break my egg yolks up, kind of whisk them in right in the middle. And now we just need to get all of our dry incorporated in. And you just want to stir this until your batter comes together, which happens relatively quickly. There we go. So just make sure your eggs are well incorporated in. And that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is just set this off to the side until we need it. And I'm going to go over and check on our hamburger and see how it's doing. And one more thing, actually, before I forget, I do want to add about half of my corn into my cornbread mixture so that we get it all the way through the whole thing. There we go. That's pretty good. And now all we need to do is mix this in, and now this will be done. Alright guys, our hamburger and vegetables are done, and I went ahead and drained off any remaining fat from the hamburger. And all we need to do now is go ahead and add in our 1 can of tomatoes along with the juice from them. As well as we're going to start adding in some of our tomato sauce. I'm going to start with about half of the can. For this amount, I'll probably end up needing the whole can. But this dish is easily customizable. If you have a smaller family to feed, then cut it in half and it works just as well. Or if you have a larger family, double it if you need to. Alright, yeah, definitely. We are just going to go ahead and add the whole can. And let's get this stirred around and see where we're at. I think that looks pretty good. Now all we need to do is add in our spices. And I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons and see where we're at. I've gone ahead and stirred in our 2 tablespoons of our seasoning, but I still think it needs a little bit more. It's just a little bit light on it. So I am going to go ahead and add a 3rd one. And let me get this stirred in and give it a little taste and see what we think. Definitely for this amount of meat and vegetables, you're going to want about 3 tablespoons of your seasoning mix. And I am going to add just a little bit of black pepper to this. Excuse my reach there. As well as a small pinch of salt. Alright guys, so we've got our spices in, and the last thing we need to add in is our corn. So let me get this dumped in here. Now if you were going to be adding black beans or any other vegetables to this, canned, or if you were going to be adding any canned or frozen vegetables to it, now would be the time to do that. And all we need to do is get this stirred in, and it is now ready to assemble into our casserole dish. Alright guys, I've gone ahead and dumped our meat mixture into the casserole dish. And now all I need to do is spread it out evenly throughout the dish. And next we're going to top it with a thin layer of our cheese. Alright guys, so now all that's left to do is top it with our cornbread topping. And you just want to start spreading, or you just want to start putting it on top, and then you can evenly spread it out once you get it all the batter out of the bowl. So while I'm doing this, I would like to remind you of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that Jiffy and I have going on our channel. So if you would like to be a part of that, it's really easy. All you have to do is go out and make a cooking video and post it to your channel. And once you've done that, let either JPIC or I know in the comment section of our latest cooking videos, or if you are a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there as well. And remember, guys, this is a community-driven playlist made up of you, our friends and YouTube family. So, you know, now that we have a lot of time on our hands and we have to get very creative with our cooking, why don't you get out there and try making a cooking video, and you might end up having more fun with it than what you think you would. But I think this is looking really good. So let me go ahead and get the remainder of our topping out, and we will get it spread around. Alright guys, so that is all of our topping, and I'm just going to try and bring it up a little bit to the edges. I do want some of the juices from down below to kind of bubble up in and around it. Makes the topping super yummy when it does that. But for now, I think that looks pretty good. So now all we need to do is transfer it over into our 400-degree oven. And we're going to let it bake for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to pull it out, top it with a little bit more cheese, and then put it back in for another 10 minutes. So for a total of 20 minutes. And then this dish will be done. So I will see you then. Alright guys, our tamale pie is out of the oven. And again, like I said, about halfway through, I went ahead and added some black olives and another little handful of cheese across the top. Smells really good, looks really good. Let's get in here and serve us up a slice and see what we think about it. Alright guys, I've got it in our serving bowl. And the way I like to serve this is with a little bit of sour cream right on top. There we go. As well as a little bit of extra sliced green onion. There we go. So let's get in here and give it a taste, see what we think about it. Alright guys, let's see here. Let's get a good bite of everything. Some of our topping, some of the cheese, some of the olives, definitely a little bit of the sour cream. This is really good. The sweetness from the cornbread kind of counterbalances the heat I put in with the jalapenos. This is such a really good dish. And really, it's quick and easy to pull together from items you have from your pantry. So right now, while we are left at home with a lot of time on our hands and a lot of time to get creative, this is kind of one way that I'm doing it. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me for today. Remember to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist. I will leave a link down in the description to it. If you guys have liked this video, leave me a comment down below. If you guys tried this recipe out, let me know how it turns out for you. But for now, thank you so very much for joining me today. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.